Oh man, I hate Mondays.
Nah, man, it's Tuesday.
Wait. What day is it?
You know what day it is. Tuesday. Brewsday, Tuesday.
Oh, fuck yeah. Grab a cold one. It's Brewsday Tuesday. Here's DreZ and Big Nate.
Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Brewsday Tuesday once again. And it is me and Big Nate ready to drink some brewskis. Now, we do have a bit of a theme, and this one's actually even got a theme inside of the theme. So the
It's the
theme,
best kind of theme. It's like themeception.
yes, the theme today is chocolate, which is pretty sweet, pun intended. I have Founders CBS, which it's the part of their barrel aged series. The Imperial Stout brewed with chocolate and coffee, our second theme in this one. It's also aged in bourbon barrels with maple syrup, of all things. So they're doubling down on the sweetness with this one. I'll go ahead and even read the full rundown here on the back of the bottle. This was bottled on October 16th of 23. Obviously, it's a little old for, well, actually, that's not that long ago, but I'm sure this is one that's fine with age. So I think it could be just fine. It says right on here, the legendary CBS returns. CBS is a bold imperial stout featuring chocolate and coffee that is aged in bourbon barrels with maple syrup. This is all stuff that we know. The sweet but balanced aromas of maple syrup and chocolate fill the air, while notes of toasted oak and vanilla become more profound with every sip, melding together in what can only be described as a transcendent drinking experience. Coming in at 11.7%. This one should be pretty good.
That's a big boy.
Usually we save the bigger boys for later. That's not how this one kind of shaped out, but I was just realizing the other thing.
I think you wanted to get the coffee out of the way.
Well, not only the coffee, but I'm holding this. This might have been better for the second round, just in the fact that we could have had it out of the fridge a little longer and let it warm up. Like I'm cradling it and trying to let my body temperature maybe, because this is a stout that I think you could almost drink it at room temperature and it would taste just fine.
I think
So
it's still probably going to be delicious. I've got the Stone Shaka Vesa. Now, I mean, full disclosure, I've had this before. It's one of my favorite stouts. It's their imperial stout inspired by Mexican hot chocolate. The thing that makes Mexican hot chocolate different than American hot chocolate is a little kick, a little bit of spice. So it's brewed with chocolate, naturally, coffee, pasilla peppers, vanilla, cinnamon, and nutmeg. So you get that little bit of spice in there, and it's 8.1 ABV, and I'm excited.
So I don't have. I think I got an idea of the ABV. I think we're actually going down in ABV from here, but
we've done this all wrong.
I think we're going up in sweetness, though. So hey, you're the one that said we should do the coffee out of the way first.
I was thinking of you because I know how you feel about coffee.
Yeah, but at the same time, if it's a coffee stout, usually that's within high ABV, then I'm usually fine with that.
It probably is anchored by the ABV.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh man. Age did not hurt that one at all. And like I said, October, that wasn't even that long ago.
No.
I mean,
No,
six and a half.
I'm of the belief that a lot of times expiration dates on stouts just
Well, this is the born on date.
Yeah,
This is the
born on
bottle.
date.
Yeah,
I'd say they probably don't have an expiration
I don't know
date on
if
it.
Bud Light
I wonder
trademarked that or not, but
I wonder how long you could actually sit on it before it becomes bad. I feel like you've got some time. If it's properly stored, I imagine you've got a few years.
yeah, I would think so. I mean, with a lot of beer, I mean, some of them actually, just like, whiskey or wine, actually get better with age. So, I mean, there is that argument as well. I was just looking, they even have underneath the Founder's bottle cap here, it says barrel age series. If you're watching on the Facebook Live or the YouTube, I like a good cap.
Yeah, this one says specifically age at cellar temp 55 degrees. I don't know why you would use a can for aging as opposed to a bottle, but you can.
Yeah. So it says, so if you're aging it you don't want to age it in the fridge. You don't want to age it at
You wanna
normal
keep it-
room temperature. You want
it
cool,
gives you the temperature. It
like
says,
a wine cellar kind of a thing.
55 degrees Fahrenheit, 13 degrees Celsius, which 13 sounds so low. Celsius is a terrible measure of temperature.
Yeah, I've grown used to it, being married to a Scottish gal.
Oh my God,
I
did you
pretty
use
much-
Celsius?
Yeah, she does.
So how does preheating the oven go? Or she just
Well,
does
she's
it?
just- well,
I guess you can convert it.
you can convert it, but at the same time, when it comes to ovens, it's just whatever the recipe is going to be. It'll say what to put it at. But what's weird is in the car, it's set to Celsius in her car, of course. And if she looks at her phone, or if I ask her what the weather is going to be like, she'll say it in Celsius. So it's gotten to the point where I pretty
Can-
much
can-
I can
can you
speak I can
convert?
speak Celsius pretty well.
I know that 13 degrees Celsius is 55 degrees
55, yeah.
Fahrenheit, but that's about as far as that goes.
In fact, I nailed that because I think it was it yesterday or maybe I don't remember what day it was, but she asked like, "Oh, is it cool out?" We woke up, we were going to go for a run, and I was like, "It's about 50, 55." And I was like, "I think it should be about 13." I think I got it right on the nose there. It's not that hard.
And then 0 is 32. Those are the only two I know. And I've got the 55 as a cheat sheet here.
Well, and boiling is
100? No.
yeah, for them
Is
is
it?
100. Yeah. It really makes sense that 0 is freezing, boiling
Yeah.
is 100. But you feel like you
I
don't have
can
as much
see it.
wiggle room. You don't have as obviously, 1 degree fluctuates at about, 3 to 4 degrees. So but at the same time, how big of a difference is it if it's 73 versus if it's 75? I think honestly, Celsius, it's not too bad. Not too
Alright.
bad.
I know that
You don't need to be as precise as Fahrenheit is.
NASA doesn't use the metric system. So the rest of the space programs in the world for the International Space Station had to switch to Imperial.
Mm.
And it was like an absolute nightmare for all of them to learn it. So maybe we should finally like put it behind us and just start teaching
Yeah,
the
but
metric system.
At the same, well, the Celsius, that's not, is Celsius part
It's
of the
not
metric system? Yeah, I think
but
that's
I would still.
yeah, it's
It's in
compared
the same
of
category.
how it's different. And yeah, the metric system, man. I mean, but at the same time, we do teach both. Like I remember learning both, but most people just use feet and all that stuff. Miles.
I mean, we have a unit of measurement that's 12 inches. It's not a round number versus their base 10 system.
Yeah, that is probably
I'm gonna learn it. We're
a
gonna
bit
start
more
using it.
superior, but I mean, I know it. It's just that you kind of got a rough idea and then you got to translate it to what we're used to. Yeah, why do we still use that? We're just stuck in our ways. And at the same time, it's funny how I bring it back to BB because that's what I know, or we can kind of do that. So over there, they do miles, like the speed limits are in miles, but they do measure in like liters. If you're fueling up, it's price per liter, not gallons.
That's weird.
So
'cause
some stuff it's metric, some stuff it's not. Like
does all of Canada use kilometers, or is it just French Canada?
I haven't
Was it
been.
you?
I have only been to Ottawa, and I didn't drive. So
Okay. Maybe it was Tim Donnelly who was telling me that like I think it might just be like Quebec and Montreal use kilometers and the rest of Canada uses miles.
that wouldn't surprise me because they also speak different language.
Yeah, let's say they speak French.
Which is weird. That's a whole nother ball game.
There's a whole like I find it fascinating. I've always found Canada fascinating. I think it's probably South Park's fault, but
Yeah.
the French, Quebec, Montreal, all that, like they have their own genre of country music, and it's like the stuff you hear on our sister station PSK, but it's all in French and somehow like loses all of its impact. They call it Franco country. You're ever bored and like really bored, check it out.
See, that's interesting because I was actually just talking about it. There's a lot of bands from all across the world, and a lot of them sing in English. So you don't. Honestly, sure I've never heard any French country, but I couldn't even think of any French songs.
I mean, Gojira is French and they sing in English.
That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
mean, we could list
Yeah.
bands all day that
That's
do
a
that.
good point.
I mean, there's tons of bands that are from foreign countries that sing in English.
Well, I wonder if they're targeting like
Is it because America's
American
just such a
market.
yeah?
because like Ramstein, for instance, Germany had a program that like only so many musicians, artists, and stuff could like actually practice their art, and basically you have to like benefit Germany somehow. I don't know if they still do it that way, but Ramstein was one of the bands that was like granted permission, and I mean most of their songs are in English, except for like Du Hast.
Yeah. Which I actually do have an English version of that. Uh, So, if you're ever wondering, maybe I'll play it. I could play it and you can hear what they're singing.
Well, and I mean that's another Nana, the 99 Left Balloons
Mhm.
did an English version, 99 Red Balloons, and that actually performed worse in the States than the German version did.
Well, yeah, well, once you're used to, yeah, like I mean, I hate listening to the English version of Du Hast is not enjoyable.
No,
It's interesting when you first hear it, but you wouldn't want to listen to that one rather than Du Hast.
German's such a metal language anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of which, well, honestly, I was going to I was looking at what I still got in the beer repertoire, beer, not fridge. It's not in
Portfolio?
the fridge yet. What
Catalog?
stuff I'm sitting on and need to drink.
Backlog?
I did see some German beers, so maybe we'll need to do those soon. The so a little behind the scenes. This was not the stuff we were planning on drinking today. Something sort of came up, and we were going to have a guest, and that sort of things happen, and it's sad. Maybe I don't know if we want to even talk about it if and when it does come in.
No, but he's going to be a great guest.
It will be a great guest. So hopefully maybe next week, but at the same time, we're willing to wait. It's all
We'll be
good.
flexible.
It's all good. Yeah, we will continue to be flexible.
We'll the booze isn't going to get worse.
No, not at all. But what I was getting at was, heck, maybe next week we can finally drink these German beers now that I'm thinking about it. If we don't have whatever. So, how is well, I guess you've already had it before you said, so look at it. Is that something they just they make that on the regular, or is that like a annual
It's a
release, holiday
They call
release?
it's one of their holiday favorites, they call it. I mean, and it's Stone. They don't really make a bad beer, at least not one that we're gonna have here. I'm sure they've had some stinkers, at their actual location, but generally every Stone beer I've had has been incredibly solid. Chocovesa is actually one of my favorite stouts, and I think it's because of that little like heat you get from the hot pepper. It's a 5. I mean, it's always going to be a 5 every year when they roll it out. I kind of have to go get some, and yeah.
When do they usually release it? Do you know?
It's like late October.
Okay, so and that
I know it's
going back to it. Like I
usually
said,
get it around Halloween.
I've been sitting on these for a little while, so I might have got it at the same time. So I'm glad it still tastes good. Just like the CBS, man, this did not. I don't think it. I think it's only gotten better. Now I wasn't storing it at 55 degrees. It's actually been in the beer fridge for quite some time, but this is very tasty. It's checking all those boxes. I don't know about the maple syrup. Am I getting that? Definitely the coffee, definitely the chocolate, definitely the bourbon. You can pick up on that vanilla. I'm not really getting much maple syrup, but that's fine. I don't know if I really want to drink a beer that really tastes like maple syrup, so I'm not too worried about that.
It's big in Vermont.
11.7%. This is a nice hearty beer. I don't know if I want to give it a 5. It's right there. It's knocking on the door. I'm going to give it a 4. I'll give it a 4.75. But it's great, but it's not the best. I think I maybe have had some better stuff from their bourbon series. So, all right, here's what we'll do. I guess we'll play some Rammstein. Come back.
May as well.
Yeah, and we'll drink a little bit more on Brewsday Tuesday. Stick around.